Nobody is going to give you what you want. Not your manager, not HR, not the organization that's been promising you culture change for like the last decade. Not the industry that keeps putting your name on panels about diversity while changing absolutely nothing in the rooms or where it actually matters. So nobody's going to give you what you want. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can stop waiting and start taking decisions. So welcome back. And I am Adezilejo Dogalanye, and this is Launch with Leaders podcast, a solo episode. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome to Launch with Leaders. In these solo episodes, we focus on things that matter in your career. I'm kind of going through this again because this is the beginning of our second season. This is solo episode 2 in season 2. And some of you might be new here, and I just kind of want to give you a little bit of orientation so that you can, kind of catch up with everybody else. So these other episodes, we're going to focus on the things that matter in your career. We do focus on the things that matter in your career in the interviews, but we'll kind of dive a little deeper in the solo episodes. And we talk about things that you can add, implement, or change in your career to give you the highest leverage. So in these episodes, we work on helping you build confidence through taking action. And you notice that at the end of this, at all of these episodes, all the solo episodes, we always have one action that you can go take implement so that by the next week you're better at that and you can pick up a new one. So if you do not invest in yourself, if you do not invest time, if you don't invest money, you can expect to get the results that you want or desire. In this community here, we believe in being intentional. Intentionality is key. And we don't subscribe to living things up to chance. So if you're a woman in STEM and a woman in leadership, pull up a chair. I'm going to be sharing information that the system has a vested interest in you not knowing. Okay, so let's go. I'm sure you've heard this phrase or sentence good things come to those who wait. And you may subscribe to it. And it may work, but the reality is that it doesn't always really. And I don't really believe that it was meant to be taken literally. So, what you do, the actions you take in the period of waiting is key. So, I'm going to give you an example. So, say you want food and you have a piece of land that you can cultivate, and you just go to that piece of land, sit down there on a rock in your farmland and wait. You can wait 20 years, but you're never going to get food. So when they say good things come to those who wait, it actually involves you taking action, the right action in your period of waiting. So because in my 20-year career and over a decade working with hundreds of women in STEM and leadership, I've watched brilliant, capable, extraordinary women wait, wait and hope for things to happen in their careers because that's what they've been told. And don't feel bad because I was guilty of that at some point in my career. And women wait because we've been told that we have to be patient, we have to wait our turn, we have to wait for things to happen. We're told that when we get into the workplace, we should put our heads down and work hard, that our work will speak for itself, and that one day we will be rewarded. So, what do we do? What do you do? What do women do? They wait. They wait for their manager to finally recognize their contribution. They wait for the promotion that keeps getting deferred. And they wait for the organizations to make good on its diversity commitments. If you're in 2026 right now, you can look around and see where that's going. We wait for culture shifts. You wait for the workload that you have to become sustainable. If you think about it, you're never ever going to get done with work. That's why people work 40 years and after they retire, there's still work to be done. And then women also wait for the right moment to finally focus on themselves and take care of their health and wellness. And here's what I've observed in this waiting. It's not really passive. It might be to some extent, but it really isn't if you think about it. There are things that are happening to you. Well, in your own part, if you're just waiting, it could be passive, but things are happening to you in the meantime. It's not neutral because things will be happening that work against you in the meantime. It's not the absence of decision because waiting And what you choose to do in the period of waiting is a decision. A passive one, where you allow things to happen to you, but the decision all the same. So when you wait for your organization to change, you're deciding to let the organization determine the terms of your health and well-being. If you work in a very toxic workplace and you're waiting for things to change, for something to happen, in the meantime, every single day you show up at work, you're just destroying yourself physically and mentally. But you're waiting. When you wait for the right moment to rest, when you know that the workload is too much, you're stressed, you're burnt out, but you can't take time off. You can't negotiate for the things that will help you take care of your body and your mind and your health. You're deciding that your body's needs, your needs are negotiable, are not important, are secondary. When you wait for someone to recognize the load you're carrying and take some of it off, you're deciding to carry it indefinitely if they don't. Because think about it, the reality about this, do good work and they'll recognize you. No, if you do good work, why would your employer want to promote you and pay you more money for the work you're already doing? They'll rather you're there and keep doing it and they pay you less for more. So waiting passively is costing you if that's what you're doing. All right. It is important that we recognize the main issue here because we can blame our organization, we can blame the manager, we can blame HR, we can even blame the broken system. And some of the blame goes to, I mean, you might be right. However, sometimes I like us to focus on the things that we can control. The main issue here is just being passive and hoping without taking the right actions. Passive hope is the belief that if you keep performing at the highest level, if you keep delivering, if you keep proving, if you keep showing up, eventually someone will see it. Eventually something will change. Eventually the environment will become one that sustains you rather than extracts from you. Passive hope is expensive. It costs so much. It costs high achieving women so much, and it's not worth subscribing to. But unfortunately, it's very common. I see women in STEM, women in leadership who have been really in their career, in their organization, the most qualified person in every room for a long time, a decade, two, even more, still waiting to be treated accordingly. I see women leaders who have delivered results consistently for years and are still waiting for the recognition that will make the sacrifice feel worth it. I see women founders who have built something real from nothing and are still waiting for the system to make space for them without requiring them to break themselves in the process. Women hold back all the time from taking action to move themselves forward, and time passes. It starts with a year, two, more, and then you find yourself several years down the line still waiting. Passive hope keeps you stuck or worse. And while you're waiting, you're paying the price. Your health is paying the price. Your wellness is paying the price. Because even though you're working harder than ever, it's not paying enough. Though you're being the best employee, the best team member, etc., you the best anything, everything that you can be to move the organization forward, you're still not being recognized for it. And you're unhappy about it, and you're not excited about the prospects, and you have dreams that you expected to fulfill, to be fulfilled, and they're not fulfilled. All of this bothers you. It stresses you out. But you're tired because you're working harder than ever and it's not yielding anything. And in spite of all this, you have to keep smiling because, hey, smile. I have to keep pretending that you're okay with how things are. And this takes a toll on you. Chronic work stress is a result of code switching every day, navigating gender and racial bias, carrying the visible labor, performing at a higher standard for lower recognition. And whether you like it or not, it's going to manifest in your body. It does manifest in your body. It affects your cortisol levels, your inflammation markers. You get to a point where you're so exhausted that sleep and rest and relaxation doesn't fix it. And we now know that it now results in all sorts of autoimmune diagnoses. 80% of autoimmune diagnoses are women. And this seems to come from nowhere, but it doesn't come from nowhere because you've been carrying this for years and your body keeps score. So, passively waiting has consequences on your health and your wellness, as well as on your pockets, on your advancement, on your career advancement, on your economic, what do I put it? Your money goals, okay? So, what's the alternative? What then can you do? How can you be intentional and proactive in your career and leadership? Well, you need to make a decision. A single, clear, non negotiable decision that you make for yourself without waiting for permission, without waiting for the right moment, without waiting for someone to tell you that it's okay to make that decision or that you're worth it. You don't have to justify it. And you have to decide that you are the most valuable asset and that investment in yourself is the most important investment you will ever make. Because think about it. If you get so sick that you can't work, then what happens? Unless you have a double or a clone, that's it. They can find someone else to replace you, but that person cannot be you. And even if the company finds someone else to replace you, what about you? Who is replacing you? So you are your most valuable asset. An investment in yourself is the most important investment you will ever make. And the key is to make this decision now and begin to act accordingly. You don't need more time. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to ask anyone. You don't need for things to get better, to get settled. You don't need to see everybody else doing it before you can. Make the decision first, and you will find a way to have the most fulfilling career on your own terms. And now you're going to ask me, Adeze, oh, how are we going to make this practical and tangible? Okay, well, there are three things or three places that you can look at that most likely is costing you so much right now. And I can share that and also share what you can do about it. So, number one, okay, not making the decision for one is going to be costing you, I've said it earlier, your health and well being. And if you've been telling yourself that you will take care of yourself after this project, after this quarter, after things calm down, that is living in a passive state, more or less. Your body is not going to wait for your calendar to clear. It's keeping score right now as you go. And at some point, on a timeline that you do not control, it's going to reach its critical point. I brought it from an amazing, incredible woman that commented on my post on LinkedIn. It's going to reach a critical point, and the consequences are not pretty. Ask me how I know. Okay. And then number two is that not making these decisions can be limiting your career. So let's say you're sitting around waiting for your organization to recognize your value and act on it without you having to advocate for yourself. That's being passive. That's passive hope. I know women that are conditioned to wait to be seen. Women in general are told to just, don't be too aggressive or whatever. But this has nothing to do with being aggressive. And if you follow me long enough on social media, all this podcasts, you know that it's time to ditch that because it never really works. It has never really worked. Decide what you need and go for it with strategy, with precision, but most importantly, with support. That is one thing that I teach all the time, the power of leverage relationships. Because again, that's my thing. You cannot build without community. You cannot build without support. But if you try to do it on your own, that's why it's going to be really, really difficult. Find your people. It might be a little challenging, but your people are out there. So the third thing that can be happening to you if you don't take this decision is that you might be impacting yourself, your sense of self. If you've been so focused on performing for others, proving yourself to others, delivering, you're likely going to be looking out and really inwards. So, what do they want? What can I do so that they will? So, you're looking outward all the time. And you're not giving yourself the space and time to sit down, sit back and think about you. Who are you? Where are you coming from? What do you want? How do you want to navigate the space? If you're so focused on pleasing others, it means that you deprioritize yourself, and over time, you become removed from yourself. In my TEDx talk, I speak about the importance of self awareness. When I teach women about networking and building leverage relationships, I always encourage them to start with the foundation, which is self awareness. Knowing who you are will allow you to focus on and attract what you truly want and need. I believe that. So nobody is coming to give you what you want if you don't give it to yourself first. How would they know what you want? When you don't even know what you want. Because if you're not moving in that direction, if you're not trying to attract the thing that you want, they can't read your mind. Or they'll probably think that you don't care. So do not outsource your well being to passive hope. Be intentional about supporting yourself. That is how to build a sustainable career. That is how to build sustainable leadership. And when you choose you, others will choose you as well. So, if this resonated with you, I want to let you know that I have something absolutely incredible that I created to support you on this journey. So, on Saturday, June 27th, 2026, I'm hosting Restore. So, Restore is in two parts. One is a full day virtual healing and resilience experience that is designed exclusively for women leaders, women executives, and women entrepreneurs who want to lead sustainably and who want to live a wholesome life. Women who recognize that their career and their health and wellness are deeply connected. Women who understand that the physical and mental well being directly boosts your energy, your focus, your resilience, and they are critical for your professional growth, for the growth of your business. And women who know that a balanced and fulfilling career and life provides purpose and stability that helps you reduce stress and, most importantly, improves your overall quality of life. So, this experience is going to be facilitated by one of the world's most respected narrative therapists, Zelo. Oh my goodness. I always Zelo. Super Milo. So she is a co-developer of the Tree of Life methodology used to support healing, resilience, and sustainable leadership. And her framework is used in over 60 countries. So the second part of Restore is that you're going to have access to 6 months of practitioner-led wellness circles. This is going to help you to do the deep healing work. This is going to give you continuity because the Restore workshop is going to be an incredible experience. And we want you to continue in that line. So we have amazing practitioners and experts that are going to be leading this wellness circles. You'll love them. If you go on my LinkedIn right now, I did have an interview with one of them. But we'll focus on things like yoga, breath work, and mindfulness, all the things that will support you and your career. So for this wellness restore, we have only 50 seats available because this is curated with intention. So go now and get your ticket. The link is going to be in the show notes, but it is link.africanwomeninstem.com / restore. So link.africanwomeninstem.com / restore. And because you listen to this podcast, okay, I'm going to give you a code to get 10% off right now. So type in podcast for 10% off. Until next time, live well, lead well, and be whole. Bye.